Bitcoin is up to what, 46,500, I think, $46,597.
That's it.
That's insane.
I mean, it was 3,800 in March, so you could have got
3,800.
Yeah, you could have jumped in at 3,800 in March of last year. Now, a lot of things fell right in March, so if you bought right at the bottom of coronavirus, you could, but even, I mean, if you bought it before that, you could less than 10,000 very easily. It's been incredible. I mean, it really has been incredible.
The herd is coming. The herd is coming. Because of Elon Musk yesterday, he invested $1.5 billion, Tesla did, into Bitcoin. You know, they're coming after him now. They're like, he's been hyping this up. So, what? Yeah, he says, I like Bitcoin. So do I. I mean, you don't have a right to say that. That's somehow or another manipulating the market.
Well, because they were saying he bought it in December, and he was tweeting about it after December as well. So that means
you're supposed to stop believing in it.
And it was just his company bought it. He was saying good things about it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I think pretty much if you look at any company, the things they invest in, they're going to say good things about. That's kind of a normal thing that companies do.
Well, I tell you one thing I don't like. We just bought $1.5 billion.
Hate
Bitcoin. That's over. What? Are you insane?
I mean, what's incredible is if you were listening to this show, and you listened early, you're very wealthy right now. But if you happen to...
Not us, because we didn't take our own advice.
Yeah, well, I mean, you did a little bit. I mean, it was certainly...
We didn't...
I believed in it, and...
I think I was told, what was it, $30 or 30 cents?
Oh, yours was really ridiculous, because you met with one of the, leaders, Mark Andreessen, who's the guy who has he basically run Coinbase, right? Yeah. He's a bunch of different companies, was a huge believer in Bitcoin super early. And if Glenn had listened to his advice, and some on the left might be happy with this, you would not be hearing him talk right now because he'd be on an island somewhere. But
30, I think it was 30 cents when he told
ridiculous
me 30 cents. And I was like, I don't know. There's nothing to this.
Computer money. What are you talking about?
Computer money. How do you put the computer in your wallet? That's ridiculous.
But even later, I mean, we were talking about it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600.
Yeah.
And all the way up to, if you're in the beginning of 2017, it was at 1,000. And even that seemed like it was high at the time. Then it had that big run up, the quote unquote bubble, right?
Yep.
And it went up to 19,900 or whatever it was, almost at 20,000. And now when you look at the all-time graph of Bitcoin, it just looks like a little blip. That 2017 looks like a little blip. It's not even halfway up to the price. And now this huge run-up. And it's funny because one of the arguments at that time, after it collapsed, there's lots of haters who came in and said, this was nothing, it never was anything. People don't, we're not going to print and spend money. That's not what, is inflation going to be a big problem in the future? No, of course not. Bitcoin makes no sense. And what people who were pro-Bitcoin argued was that this is going to look more like the internet, where you had that first quote-unquote internet bubble in 2000. Everyone's like, oh, gosh, what a joke, pets.com. And now it's just running our entire economy.
Right.
And so you had that early one, that little bump, it came down. I mean, there's been several bubbles over the years with Bitcoin, but it's raged back to huge improvements year after year after year.
I think because what's happened was all the little people got destroyed. And then the big money sat there and they were like, okay, are we ready? Can we invest? Can we do this? And so all of the hedge funds, all of the big businesses, Goldman Sachs, et cetera, they put in systems that could invest in Bitcoin, watched it, and now the herd is coming. I mean, I've heard that Apple is talking about investing $5 billion. It would be stupid.
Huge.
It would be huge, but it would be stupid to release that information before you buy it.
Right. You would
so I don't know if you trust that.
Yeah. But Elon Musk is still quirky enough that people will look at that and say, oh, well, it's Elon Musk and he does all sorts of wild things.
Once a big company gets into
Apple does it?
Yeah.
That is a total game
I think
changer.
This is the difference between my generation understands gold. The young generation, this is digital gold. That's the way they view it, is digital gold. And I view gold as gold. And I like both Bitcoin and gold. But I think they're both being driven by the same thing. The money thing is going to be over soon. It's going to be over. And if you don't, but when you look at the price of Bitcoin, don't think you have to buy a Bitcoin. You don't. You could put $100 into it and still make money. If you don't have, I've been saying this for 5 years. Can you imagine when I first started saying this? If you would have put money into it, if you don't have $100 in Bitcoin, I used to say when it was $1. If you don't have $100 in Bitcoin, you're a fool. Because this is life-changing money. If you don't have, $500 in Bitcoin now, you're still a fool because it's not done doubling. It's not.
And again, we don't know where the price of Bitcoin is going. But I mean,
still think
long term, it's hard not to be optimistic about it.
I still think that the central banks you could come in at any time and crush it.
Yeah, it should always be money you're willing to lose.
Right.
But it is it's some level of gambling. But I mean, even as late as October, Glenn, it was still at 10,000.
Shut up.
In October.
Shut up.
It's up 5 times since then.
I know.
Now, I don't know if it's going to hold on to this stuff. I mean, the Elon Musk stuff in some ways makes me nervous because people get so hyped up about whatever he says. So he's going to say something else next week. And I assume all the people who jumped in for Elon Musk are going to go run to Dogecoin or whatever he's talking about next time.
That Dogecoin is a meme. It
was built as a joke initially, but it's been around for a long time now.
Yeah,
but it's hit all-time highs because he's been talking about it,
which is
like
8 cents.
It is like 8 cents.
Yeah,
yes.
so.
But still, I mean,
if you don't have 8 cents in Dogecoins right now,
how long have you been saying that? If you don't have 8 cents in Dogecoin, you're nuts.
Look, think of that. You could have bought it at a penny. You 8 times your money right now.
You'd have 8 cents.
Right.
I didn't mean to be a mathematician and get you too deep into the calculus. But you'd have 8 cents.
Think of that. Would you show up at work?
Oh no!
If you had 8 cents?
No offense, Glenn, but we'd never speak again. I mean,
no, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, if I had 5 cents, I'd never speak to you again. But
hey,
we all have our own standards.
And if you don't have 5 cents in Dogecoin right now, you are an idiot.